What's up, traders and investors? Welcome to TradersArmy.com. Today we're going to be checking out in this free trading video, checking the earnings and why it's so important. Every now and then when you look at a stock, you'll notice, I have Facebook up here right now. This is Facebook stock price, currently trading for around $177 as of today. And you'll see that just a few weeks ago, Facebook dropped dramatically from about 217 opening up around 174. It dropped about 20% overnight. Before that, you'll see that we have this big old gap right here in price. You'll see several areas on a price chart, whether we're looking at Tesla. Okay, Tesla has this period of time where it jumps, it jumps, it jumps. You look at things like Netflix. Netflix jumps, 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 and a lot of movement can happen in a very short period of time, specifically overnight, on big announcements. And the cool thing about earnings announcements is that we know that a company that is publicly traded has to release their earnings statement. They also have to tell us when they're releasing their earnings, so we know exactly the date in which this news event is going to come out, which historically can create a lot of volatility. If it moves in your favor, that's great, but there's no way of knowing if the market is going to react the way that you need it to until it does. I mean, how many people were probably expecting Facebook or hoping Facebook jumped up 20% versus gap down 20% on that earnings announcement? So why do we need to check earnings, and do we really even care about what the earnings say? The answer to the second question is no. We don't really care what the earnings are expected to be. We don't care about how much money the company's making or not making. We don't really care about the balance sheet. In a previous free trading video we did here at Traders Army, we talked about the news. Is it useful or is it not? And in that particular video, if you haven't watched it yet, we talk about how companies can cook the books, and some companies tell the truth and some companies don't. And ultimately, there's no way of knowing with any degree of probability which direction the stock is going to go after earnings are out. And the companies always release their earnings either after the market closes that day or before the broad market opens the next day. Therefore, it creates this gap scenario, and it's really difficult, if not impossible, to, without using options at least, to protect yourself against these earnings gaps. So why are we having a conversation about checking earnings? Well, really what I want to know is, when is the earnings date? When is the company expected to release earnings, so that I can actually manage the position, get out if I want to, which is probably a good idea, get out of the position before the company announces, and then wait for the reaction to happen, and then get back in if we still like it. Maybe we'll get back in at a better price. For those of you who are using the Thinkorswim trading platform, which I know a lot of our users are, you can just go into the Thinkorswim trading platform and enable show me all the corporate actions dealing with this company. And how you do that is you go up to this little gear cog, which is in any chart. Go up to the little cog here, click on it, and go over to your equities tab. Under your equities tab, you'll see show corporate actions. You want to check that box, click apply, and you'll see, after you click OK, these little icons down at the bottom. These icons down at the bottom tell you when the conference calls are occurring, and they tell you when the earnings announcement is expected to be out. You can see all of these that have already happened are in the past. But watch, when I go ahead and scoot my chart forward, what you'll see is these icons are going to appear out in the future. Now, we only have one icon, and what this means is this is the anticipated earnings date. So we have an anticipated earnings date after the market closes, but it has a question mark over top of it because they haven't confirmed it yet. So you know that if this thing, if you're in this trade and you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, and you see that in the far right-hand side of your chart, this little icon is coming up really, really close, you know that you have to be prepared to either accept a ton of risk in the trade if you're going to hold through the earnings announcement, or get out of the trade before the earnings announcement. This way, you don't hold through any unfortunate event like being long Facebook going into earnings and then having a 20% drop on your stock overnight. I mean, that'll crush the account. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. Again, I don't really care what the earnings report says. I just care when it is, so we can manage our risk associated with the event. If you guys have any questions for us at any time, reach out, support@TradersArmy.com. And we're happy to help in every way that we can. Take care. Bye-bye.